I'm Benj.
And I'm Feli,
And we are the head coaches of the Truly Rich Makers. Hello mga Truly Rich Makers, and we're so excited for this episode today dahil super special ang aming guest today. They are so close to our hearts, and ito talaga yung episode that I was really looking forward to have. So wag na natin patagalin. Introduce na natin. Sino ba mga guests natin?
the special people in our hearts, my daughter and my son-in-law, Chai and Patrick Gamo! Patrick!
Ang tagal natin di nagkita. Parang mga 2 minutes ago.
Hindi, ang tagal natin kinedjol at
Oo.
ni-reschedule. Busy nyo kasi, kayo naman talagang busy.
You guys are on the go.
Ayan, kasi we want our audience na malaman din. Of course, di ba, we're in this advocacy of financial literacy. And ang question, yung pamilya kaya nila nandun? So, I want to show the world na
The
Na
word.
hindi lang sabi
my
sa
family is not
Exactly.
left behind.
Amen.
Exactly.
Oo. So siguro
That's true.
umpisa natin sa kwento nila. No?
Sige.
Oo.
Ano bang kwento?
Saan tayo magsisimula? Or-
Hindi, but ikaw muna kasi ako, I grew up with
Oo,
them
nga,
So,
totoo.
alam naman ng mga tao that my exposure or I learned about money management through them.
Mhm.
Pero ikaw.
So, yung totoo doon, at the very beginning, mindful naman ako of money and spending. Pero, dumating kasi ako sa point na hindi ko na siya masyadong iniisip or I wasn't really being intentional about budgeting. And I actually got into debt. So, the whole time na nasa Australia ako, I was partially paying off debt in the Philippines. So, it was only really through the help talaga of not just Chai, but of course Chai and IMG na namulat ako na debt is a thing that kind of keeps me down or keeps me from living my life.
But before that,
Ah.
why were you in debt?
Okay, so yung work ko after graduation, so I was very gainfully employed. I was making, wag na natin sabihin kung magkano.
It's okay,
Basta,
6-figure income.
Hindi naman 6-figure. Hindi.
Nearly.
Nearly. More than half of what it takes to get to a 6-figure.
Fresh
Money.
grad fresh grad siya,
Yeah.
tas ganun agad yung
Yeah.
income niya.
I was a management trainee din kasi. So, I had a lot of savings. And especially in the first few years of my career. Nakapunta kami ng family ko to Europe and I was able to pay for myself because I had that
Wow.
many savings. But then, when I had to transition or I was doing career shifts, yung luxury ng malaking sweldo na yun, nawala. Kasi na-cut siya almost in, not half, not even a third, but almost a quarter. Yun na yung kinikita ko. And so, the lifestyle that I was trying to keep up with, I didn't have the means to actually keep up.
Yun.
Oo. So, that's what caused me to rack up debt because I kept using my credit card for gas expenses, yung mga dates namin ni Chai. Ayan.
Ako pa rin may
Oo,
kasalanan.
hindi.
Lagyan natin timeline, Patrick.
Oo.
How many years before you got married yung situation na yan?
I think nag-start yun, Hans, di ba? Kasi nung nagta-transition ka from one job to another, unemployed siya for like 2 or
2 months?
2
2
months,
to 3 months.
ganyan.
Yeah. Oo.
so parang acquire lang siya ng expenses. Tapos
Oo.
nababawasan yung savings niya. Tapos hindi naman agad nakabawi yung
Nire-replenish
income.
yung income. Yeah.
So, yun.
Yun. So, about 3 months na nag-accrue siya. Tapos, I was also in the middle of a career shift nga. So, I was switching from corporate to non-profit work in an education non-governmental organization. It was only after that I was able to make the ultimate career shift to the job that I'm doing now, which is psychotherapy. So, yung period of time na yun between being unemployed and before leaving for my scholarship, for my master's, was maybe a good year and a half na talagang trying to pay it off. Pero ganun talaga eh. I mean, no offense to, banks and credit card companies and stuff, but that's how they get you talaga. The allure na, pwede kang magbayad, huwag mo na muna isipin. Pero pag hindi mo inisip, kukunin ka. So, yun din.
So, Chay, mga anong time frame to that you know?
That is in 2015. Di ba na,
2015.
parang we were new into the dating, ganyan.
Oo.
Hindi ko naman, wala din akong idea sa mga ganyan. I only found out about all these concerns with money bago pa na kami ma-engage. Kasi nag-uusap na kami about everything.
Seryosong usapan.
Walang taguan ng kahit ano.
Ang galing.
Oo. So I think that's one of the first lessons that we learned talaga is when you are trying to manage your funds or your budget with somebody else, what helps really is to be fully transparent talaga. Hindi yung pwedeng, uy, secret lang sa'yo, hindi ko sasabihin sa'yo, pero meron utang ako na ganito kalaki pala.
Hey guys,
Surprise!
did you hear that? So, I
Lesson
also pick
number
that lesson. Okay.
Even before we got married, kasi parang nag-attend kami ng Discovery Weekend. And one of the things that they encourage talaga yung lahat ng couples, whether talagang decided na kayo to get married or not, is to have an open communication. And yun, sa amin naman kasi parang hindi naman issue yung open communication. And we're in it together.
Oo nga, tsaka parang, I think we made it so it's not just a money principle for us, but it's like an actual life relationship value or principle, which is to just be honest and transparent. Then.
Yeah.
Kasi wala namang sense to share a life but not to share it fully.
Yeah.
Tama. Tell us, how did you get out of that
Oh
situation?
my God. Rich parents. No, joke lang. Joke lang. I was in my last semester, I think, of masters when Chai and I really seriously sat down and thought about, okay, so this is how much you're getting from your stipend. This is how much your daily or monthly expenses are. And this is how much debt you still have. So talagang inupuan namin. Tapos,
Pinagalitan ko siya ng slide.
slight lang. Pero mabait naman si Chai. So, inupuan namin, binanage namin yung budget ko so that I could still enjoy, living alone in Australia, but also at the same time managing my debt so that it wouldn't ever get to a point where I would have to borrow money from anybody else pa. I think grace of God din yun kasi at least hindi umabot yung utang ko to the point na yun nga, hindi ko na siya na-manage by myself. But I just really needed the extra guidance from, swerte na lang na si Chai is not just a good person, but she's also a very good financial
Siya
coach.
coach. Wow. Oo nga, swerte.
Bayad. Joke lang.
Buhay ko.
De, pero yun, si Patrick, parang the nice thing about him was, he was willing to cooperate. Kasi diba minsan parang pag lalaki ka, and I've seen other couples na gano'n na parang, I don't wanna tell you about my problem. Lalo na with utang. Kasi nga, parang pride mo yun, bilang lalaki, ako yung provider eh. So, bahala ka sa pera mo, bahala ako sa akin. Pero siya, he was open about it.
Yeah.
And, naubos mo naman yun bago tayo ikasal eh, di ba?
Yeah.
Parang nung na-engage kami, so doon kami nag-start mag-plan for how much are we gonna spend for our wedding, ganyan. And even that, parang right from the very beginning, nung nag-set kami ng budget, na hindi naman din we couldn't stick to, kasi nga,
Original lang naman.
yung original kasi wala naman kami masyadong idea, pero yung ultimate goal talaga namin, as in non-negotiable, was wag umutang. Parang pag kinasal tayo, hindi pwede na kahit 5 doling uutang tayo.
Wow, that's very good. Kasi marami akong alam di ba, na couple, talaga may kakilala ko na talagang they started their marriage with utang. Kaya ang hirap. So, I'm so proud of you both. Wow!
I learned from the best.
Of course! Kanina pa ba namin yun
So,
matututunan?
you got married without any utang.
Wala.
Hindi lang.
Yung journey namin to saving up for our wedding, hindi din siya naging madali kasi we had an entire year to save up for it. Although may mga ipon naman kaming kanya-kanya, parang hindi naman yun yung purpose no. So, nag-ipon talaga kami specifically for the wedding. And yung original budget namin, na-exceed namin kasi ang dami namin gustong invite na friends. Kasi iba-iba naman yun, di ba? May mga couples na we respect them if they want an intimate wedding,
Right,
di ba?
right.
Pero kasi kami parang it's a once in a lifetime
Celebration.
with
you
friends
have-
and family,
yeah.
ganyan. Tapos nagka-COVID pa, di ba? Parang ang hirap mag-celebrate na at least yun. Before COVID, we got to do that.
Yeah.
So, nag-decide kami, even if we had to stretch our budget, pagtatrabahuhan pa rin talaga na.
So it wasn't an easy time when we got first engaged. Kasi nung I proposed to Chai around 8 to 9 months after I had come back. I was just starting out as a psychotherapist then. Hindi naman parang when you join a clinic, automatic na nabibigyan ka lahat ng mga pasyente or ng depende na yan kung may papasok talaga or if there will be referrals then. So, kaya talaga. And so I think that's one of the major lessons then that I learned is if you want really something to work, of course you have to pray for it, but also you have to work hard. And it's not just about relying on the current income stream that you have, but you really try to expand yourself. And I think that's the beautiful thing about the life or the generation that we live in now, or the environment that we live in now, is that there's so many exposure or opportunities to earn, to learn and to earn. And so for
Hindi
me,
limited na hanggang dito lang yung income ko, ito lang. Parang,
kaya nga tayo may konsepto na ngayon ng mga hustle. So yung isa sa mga ginawa ko, which really helped me come up with the funds for the proposal pa lang even, is naghanap talaga ako ng side project. I did a project management job with another NGO naman. We did training and all of that stuff. And I also did talks and trainings in
kaya
mental
siya
health.
nagkaroon siya ng YouTube.
Kaya ako nagkaroon ng YouTube channel na hindi ko na ipa-plug. And then yun, so that really helped me come up with the funds. And it came to a point na ako pa yung mas may confidence na mag-ambag or mag-ipon when we were already engaged. And so, it helps really to just pray and to work hard. Pray and working.
Praise talaga.
Yep.
And because you work hard for it.
Tsaka siguro yung isa pang thing about that, yung iba kasi diba iniisip nila, ay pag lalaki dapat siya lang yung mag-ipon, ganyan. Parang, yun, another thing that we talked about was, whatever we will do moving forward, it's a shared, parang lahat, shared responsibility. Hindi siya yung parang, ay, ikaw yung lalaki, ikaw lang. And ako, happy ako about that kasi I feel empowered. Strong, independent woman.
It doesn't have to be always like an even share all the time. In the earlier parts of it, ako yung nag-short. Pero si Chai
kasi
yung...
nagsistart pa nga lang siya sa work.
And then, through the latter phases na of the engagement, ako na yung parang, the lion's share of it came from me. And that's
Thank
fine.
you.
Ay, you're welcome. Wala naman sa akin. That's ours. So I think that's another lesson too, is to always treat it as ours. Hindi siya parang yours lang. And then
ambag ko or ambag mo.
Sa atin talaga.
Kasi ibang couple, iba din mag-treat ng money
Pag-pera.
matters.
Yeah.
Diba? Like, yung lalaki, income niya sa kanya lang.
Yeah.
Yung babae, income niya sa kanya lang. So, talagang kanya-kanya. And I'm so happy na you both agree upfront na you'll share the responsibility.
Yeah.
And that's good.
Nakwento nyo yung before the wedding. Ngayon siguro, pag-usapan naman natin, anong mga preparations that you had to do nung kayo kasal na?
Actually, diba, usually yung mga crisis situations, people prepare for that after they get married. Pero sa atin, naalala ko lang, nakakatawa, na we had a crisis situation right before we got married. In fact, mga 6 days before we got married. So, kwento mo nga.
Yan. Sige. So, literally, 6 days before we got married, we had a health crisis. So, si Patrick, nagkasakit siya. And akala namin parang normal fever lang. But it turned out to be dengue. So, he had to be confined. Tapos na-delay. As in, na-delay yung wedding namin. Na-postpone for another 9 days or so. And parang major wake-up call yun for us. Kasi na-test talaga yung in sickness and in health, di ba? And yung din, parang preparation in terms of having healthcare. Kasi syempre, yung ipon namin na para sa wedding, hindi pa naman bayadan ng supplier, syempre on the day mo yung babayaran, di ba? Parang intact yun eh. As in, calculated yun. And we couldn't afford to have yung mga extra expenses na hindi naman talaga part nung wedding. But the good thing was, he was protected. Meron siyang health care. So,
and it wasn't, so usually that's one of the things that most people take for granted,
Correct.
especially if they are employed.
and young.
But the thing was, I wasn't employed. I was, for the most part being part
Parang
of the clinic.
self-employed.
Ano siya parang consultant basis siya. So, hindi naman as if binabayaran nila yung healthcare mo, SSS mo, taxes mo, ganyan. Sariling sikap talaga yun. And so, isa pa yung bonus dahil na pangasawa ko si Chai is because she kept me mindful of that also na, it's important to be protected to that extent, even if you aren't, employed.
Kasi diba minsan parang pagbata ka, ay wala naman masyadong risk of
Oo.
getting sick, ganyan.
Mm-mm.
So kung self-employed ako, gastos lang yung kumuha ng healthcare. And also mom, si mom
Oo.
kasi din
Oh,
di
siya
ba?
yung benefactor.
Kinukulit ka din talaga
Oo.
na kumuha. So,
Yeah.
So, ang gandang lesson yun, na yung tinuturo talaga natin sa IMG na building
Oo.
solid
Solid
financial
financial
foundation regardless of your age.
yeah.
Bata ka, matanda ka. So, imagine mo, kung walang healthcare si Patrick,
Sobrang laki ng
Bawas.
hospital bill.
In fairness, Mia, as in, sa
magkano
Makati Med,
umabot?
Ang shoulder ko lang na out of pocket, and luckily I had more than enough
pa.
savings for that. I only had to pay for a full 7 days in the
week,
hospital. I only paid 10,000 pesos.
Wow! So,
For dengue.
For
ang
them.
ganda nung tinuturo namin sa IMG.
So, parang lesson there is keep protected and also
Yes.
have enough buffer. Even if you're focused on a specific goal, have a buffer for emergencies.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yun. So, going back to your question, paano ba how did we manage
Our funds.
our funds as a married couple?
Mhm.
Well, number one, everything is shared. So, lahat ng responsibilities, lahat ng income, whether that's from our commissions, yung sweldo niya, from mga side hustle, if may mga talks, if merong, basta lahat ng income
Goes into the same.
goes into the same fund. Tapos, lahat yun, transparent. And that's what we budget. Another thing na siguro parang buhos din ng grasya that I think the reason why it's so good to prepare for your wedding and to make sure that you cover for everything is bumubuhos kasi talaga yung biyaya sa wedding. As in, like, literally, hindi kami nag-expect. Kasi, actually, may mga kakilala din ako na, di ba, madaming magregalo, madaming magbibigay ng pera. So, kahit kulangin yung funds natin, may pang-cover yan kasi may magregalo. Pero kami, hindi talaga ganun yung mindset na sinet namin dahil we don't wanna rely on
Mga bigay.
bigay na hindi naman namin sure, di ba? Parang,
Chance.
di ba? Paano kung wala pala?
Tsaka yung consequence din nun is we start inviting people to the wedding na
Dahil
lang gusto namin
nag-expect, di ba?
pera.
Parang,
Ayaw naman namin din ng gano'n.
yeah. I mean, wala naman sigurong ganun, di ba? Parang wala
I
namang...
hope not. Yeah.
Pero yun, parang, na talaga namin na whatever will be given to us, it will be extra. So, yun nangyari sa amin because we're both, we don't have fixed income. Yung income namin for this month, for example,
Na-earn namin.
we got married in September. Yung extra, lahat ng nakuha naming money from the wedding, ginamit namin to start for that month. So, nag-budget namin for that month. So, lahat ng kinita namin for September, that's what we use for October na. So, parang naka-advance kami
Oo.
ng 1 to 2 months.
So, you really spend
Within our
Within our
budget.
within
means.
your budget. So, within your means talaga. Hindi yung ibang mindset kasi nila is,
gastos.
oops, gagastusin ko ngayon, babayaran ko sa October, kayo ang galing nyo, yung September nyo na pera.
May budget na for
May
that.
budget na gagamitin nyo na for next month.
Yep.
Galing, baliktad. Hindi kayo nagmana sa akin.
Bakit? Hindi kasi parang ako personally, na-experience ko siya nung nagsistart pa lang ako mag-work sa IMG na ang hirap mag-budget na hindi mo
Na
sure
variable
magkano
yung-
yung kikitain mo next month. So parang, di ba, paano mo gasin? So we also talked about it na, okay, nag-set na kami ng budget bago pa kami ikasal. Even the house or the condo that we wanted to rent, pinag-pray talaga namin magkano yung rent, anong inclusions, gano'ng kalaki, ganyan. Para mapasok namin dun sa budget na sinet namin, which was based on our average income monthly. So, yun, nagpipeg talaga kami ng
Galing.
average income. And before, it was somehow easier for us to meet that.
Yeah.
Kasi nga, like, iba din pag nagkaanak. Ibang story naman yan.
But yun na, I think ultimate lesson from that part of the story is it's good to have some level of predictability and consistency then. And, hindi yung pwede lang na parang, ito yung nakuha ko, ito yung gagastusin ko ngayon. Parang, really, ito yung nakuha ko, that's what I'll set aside for next month. And then whatever I get, or whatever we get extra, we'll just think about or plan on. So, I guess, it's about
kami.
planning the budget.
Yeah.
So, third lesson, you need to be able to have buffer para yung expenses mo for next month, you already have it. Hindi yung
Hindi
problema ka pa.
ngayon.
Third lesson. Very good, very good.
And then, moving forward, nung nagkaanak naman, naiba din yun.
Oh my
Kasi the pandemic happened.
Oh,
Hindi
yeah.
kami ready. Hindi namin in-expect yung we would get pregnant in the middle of the pandemic.
Yung pandemic yung hindi namin in-expect. Yung may pagkaanak, in-expect naman. Pero we applied the same principle with regards to budgeting. We took the principle that we did for the wedding and we did that also for preparing for Cassie. So, nung nagkaroon kami na goal na budget in mind for the wedding, we also thought about not the ideal budget, but I guess yung expected expenses already for
giving
yung
birth,
delivery and
check-ups. Actually, nung time na yun, alam ni Mami, stress ako kasi parang, ang mahal palang magpa-check up. Bakit ang mahal ng labs, ang mahal ng ultrasound, kada visit mo sa clinic, ang dami mong ginagastos, ganyan. Yung panganak, diba, hindi naman siya surprise. You have 9 months
to prepare.
to prepare. So, kailangan talaga pagtrabahuan tsaka pag-ipunan lang siya. Yung pandemic, yun yung parang, sprinkle ng flavor. Kasi, nung simula, syempre nag-transition siya from face-to-face to online. Hindi namin masyadong in-expect kung magpipick up ba yung work niya or what. So, we also had to adjust our budget. As in, nag-create kami ng parang pegs na, for example, ito lang yung income na pumasok this month, next month, ito, mag-a-adjust tayo. Babawasan natin yung allowance natin, babawasan natin yung grocery fund, ganyan. Practice pa rin talaga ng living within your means.
Budgeting na talaga. Okay.
Ano ba? Siguro gusto ko lang din i-grab yung opportunity na to share, no? Na just because you're budgeting, that doesn't mean you don't get to enjoy. If anything, parang
mas na-enjoy ko.
Parang mas nag-enjoy kami kasi nakapag-shopping pa din ako. Ba't ka tawa?
Yun yung enjoy shopping.
Oo. Parang hindi naman namin na-feel na bawal kang gumastos or anything kasi wala sa budget. And parang nilagay namin sa budget na pwede pa rin kaming mag-enjoy.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy for both of you kasi you prepared for the worst for Cassie, di ba?
Yeah.
Nag-prepare ka for CS.
Yeah.
Yun ang maganda.
So may extra budget kami
Oo,
from...
kasi may bonus dahil nung nag-normal ka.
Yun din. Parang hindi naman namin in-expect na kakayanin kung mag-normal delivery. So, nag-prepare kami ng gastos na yung pinakasagad na talaga. And actually, I have friends na hindi sila masyadong nagtatanong ganyan. Ako talaga, lahat ng mga kasabay kong nanganak, tinanong ko mga magkano yung nagastos nyo. Planning talaga. Kasi ang hirap din manghula. Tapos nasa ospital ka, hindi ka makalabas dahil wala kang pambayad.
So lesson number 4.
Yeah.
No, you need to plan for the worst and you need to seek advice from people who have already experienced it para mababudget talaga. I hope you pick that up.
Yeah, it's best to have as much information as you can talaga with regards to, especially when it comes to your money and how you're going to spend your money. I think extra lesson din doon is yung money na hindi namin ginastos dahil hindi nag-CS si Chai. Hindi naman namin wineldas lang.
Yeah.
Ginamit na lang namin as
for Cassie pa rin.
Cassie's fund
Cassie
talaga.
fund pa rin siya kasi
So,
actually
yung
ang
mga
mahal ng
vaccinations niya, mga check-ups niya, lahat. So, we're using that too. So,
Hindi naman yung parang, may extra pera tayo.
Oh,
Let's go!
Galing. So, importance talaga of planning
Yes.
and budget.
Super. And ako at siguro, syempre kayo yung honor namin for all of these money lessons. Walang halong bola to. Walang halong bola, guys. Kasi hindi naman namin ma-realize kung gaano ka-importante lahat ng to kung hindi namin natutunan sa experience nyo, sa mga pinagdaanan nyo, at saka kung hindi nyo in-impart sa amin lahat ng lessons na to. So,
wow, so happy na what I went through you did not go through anymore.
Yeah.
Alright,
Yun
so
talaga.
siguro, andun na tayo sa may Cassie na tayo, no?
Mm-mm.
Beautiful Cassie. And the next episode that we should look forward to is yung movement nyo to a new place.
Future
of course,
goals.
future
And
goals.
of course,
and
syempre
how are you
yung
preparing for
future
that?
din ni
Ah.
Cassie.
Cassie.
So
Yeah.
how do you prepare for that?
Revolving na lang din ba yung prinsipyo na, you know, it's a new budget, it's a new goal, and so we work towards that.
Yeah. Pinaka-basic principle lang talaga namin is we just really follow the solid financial foundation. Actually, bago dumating si Yasmin, nung nagpa-plan pa lang din kami ngayon pregnant, tinaasan namin yung insurance coverages namin. Kasi parang basic siya di ba? Healthcare, insurance, syempre pag may responsibility ka na, parang hindi mo lang naman iisipin yung life niya habang buhay ka di ba? It's the what if kung wala kami.
Oo.
Paano si Cassie mabubuhay on her own, di ba? Parang yung mga ganun na, ang morbid isipin, pero
Kailangan.
it's really
It
something,
happens.
yeah. Tsaka, mafe-feel mo talaga siya pag nandiyan yung anak mo, di ba? Parang, how do I take care of you in the best way that I can?
Oo. Not even just while I'm alive.
Yeah.
For as long as she is alive.
Tapos yun, syempre, meron yung nga, nabanggit niya yung may funds kami for her, for mga check-up, ganyan. And, yung sa pinakataas na part, wala namang kailangang bayarang utang si Cassie. So, okay siya.
Oo.
Yung investment.
So,
So, yun.
emergency fund,
Yeah.
nakaset aside.
Nakaset
talaga.
aside yung for her. So, meron kaming Cassie fund.
Mm-mm.
Separate yung vaccine. Meron din siyang shopping money. Pambili ng
Wow.
diaper, ganyan.
Oo, tsaka
Or
ganun.
toys,
Or
ganyan.
toys. Oo.
Parang hindi naman namin siya nililimitahan din. Parang
Mm.
meron din kaming allotted na budget for her. And investment. Investment yung sinimulan din talaga namin for her.
Yeah.
Even before she turned 1.
Yeah, meron na siyang mutual
Fund.
Ah.
Yun. So parang for her future, kasi yun yung something that she has, yung oras, di ba? Parang now that we know how valuable time is. And kahit maliliit lang na amounts from her birthday, from binyag, from the generous Mini and Didi. Yun, parang malaking bagay for us. And ewan ko, ako, ganito lang ako mag-isip. Yung toys, yung clothes, mabilis nyo yung kakalakihan Pero yung, di ba, when the ninongs and ninangs give money, when the lolos and lolas give money, pag later on, 10, 20 years down the line, makita niya meron na akong investments na multi-million.
X number of millions.
Siya mismo yung makakapag-decide what can I do with this? And yung pera na yun, hindi nanggaling lang sa amin, kundi sa lahat ng mga tao na,
Nagmamahal sa
di ba, nagbigay sa kanya. So at least, maximize niya. Parang kaysa kaming mag-decide for her, okay, ang dami mo na akong pera, ito yung bilhin natin for you.
Oo.
Yung mga basic necessities niya, parang kami na yun, we
Yeah.
take responsibility for that.
Another thing I think that we're learning now in our season as sabi mga dads Sir Bench. Na nagpe-prepare kami for our next big move talaga is it was more helpful to us that we have investments than for us to just keep our money in the bank. Parang this is what we needed the investment for. Ultimately is for not just to let it like circulate. Of course, it's good to have it keep circulating lang or to keep growing lang. But we wanted it to grow for this purpose. And because we have that, hindi namin kailangan utangin yung mga finances namin. Going
The
to
application.
that. Going to that. Yung Australia move namin. So yun din, hindi namin kailangan utangan because we also saved for that. We invested for that.
So actually, yung dream na yun, it has been, God has placed that in our hearts since 5 years ago, nung bago pa kami ikasal. Parang gusto na talaga naming i-plan how do we move to Australia. Ang galing ng timing, Lord, kasi ito yung 5th year nun
So 5-year plan.
2017. So, yung buong journey na yun, nakapag-ipon din kami kasi magastos talaga. I mean, aware naman kayo kasi kinukwento naman namin lahat sa inyo. Pero happy kami kasi nung nagko-compute kami nung mga kailangan bayaran, mga application, nomination, visa, etc. Parang hindi kami nasi-stress, hindi kami yung parang saan natin kukuhain or di ba madami ding mga nagmamigrate na hindi, sige, utang mo na lang yan kasi pagbalik mo naman, pagdating mo dun, mabilis mo mababawi, ganyan. Although, totoo naman yun, pero alam mo yun, parang
preference na wag na lang.
Oo.
Kasi na-experience natin yung sakit ng utang. Wag na lang.
Hindi ka
Or kaya
makagala.
na
Parang
hindi.
new life, diba? Ang sarap ng new life na talagang fresh start na wala kang bit-bit na kahit ano.
Right. So actually, a relearning na yan. Kung kaya mong hindi utangin, wag na lang.
Wag talaga.
Galing.
Talagang napaghandaan nyo yung journey nyo as a married couple and moving forward. Yung financial literacy has really helped
Super.
you, and we're so
Super.
grateful talaga din sa IMG dahil kahit na dumaan kami sa matinding pagsubok as parents, but moving forward, looking at our children, we're just so happy na they're enjoying their life, financially literate, and financially free.
Amen.
Amen.
Oh, ang ganda talaga na itong ating episode. Not just because we're family, no? But you have seen the preparation before the wedding, nung wedding, after the wedding, having a child, and then looking forward to another episode in their life. So I hope all of you who are in that stage of life, getting married or already married, have learned a lesson from this. Talaga yung what people lack, what people miss out, and what people don't prepare for. Bara-bara na lang, bahala na si Batman.
Yeah.
Buti na lang, we have guides like Patrick and Chai who can really help you. And if you have questions, no, we will flash their contacts, no, whether it be about psychological matters or financial matters. Andyan po sila, no, the mentors for these types of issues. And you have seen how they use those talents in preparing for their own life.
If you're a millennial, get in touch with Chai. Want to start investing.
Can you give them your final message?
Pag-isipan ko.
Ako, one word lang. Stewardship. Stewardship
Stewardship.
talaga. Siguro yun yung favorite kong i-share na one big message, stewardship. Kasi I feel and I know talaga deep in my heart na yung blessings na nare-receive namin ni Patrick, kung bakit parang it's so full of grace. Kung bakit yung journey namin is very smooth or very, yun nga, grace-filled talaga siya. Kasi everything that we have, we offer it back to God. Parang ang cheesy pakinggan. Pero walang kahit anong part sa amin na iniisip na, well, dasin na lang natin. Pinaghirapan naman natin to. Parang ganyan. Parang,
So you're giving back.
yun, yung giving back, given naman yun because you also taught us that. But also, yung making sure that we put it to good use. Yun, talaga na hindi siya pang ngayon lang. We always think forward, we always think kung paano namin mapapalago, iniisip din namin paano namin magagamit to serve more people. Ever since, even before naman.
Galing. How about you, Pat?
Ako naman, I think the only reason I've been able to benefit from all of the things that I've learned was because I was willing to learn. Parang tulad nga ng sabi ni Chai kanina na if I was the typical man machismo na hindi, ako problema to, bahala.
Pero ko to eh.
Oo, pera ko to eh. I probably would, number one, we wouldn't have gotten married. I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. Number two, I don't think I would be enjoying the kind of life that we have now if I didn't listen. And so ultimately, and you'll hear this a lot from Chai's vlogs also, but it's really about keeping on learning and keeping on growing. So be willing to learn and be willing to grow from all of the things that you can learn from financial literacy and from IMG also.
Yay! Thank you so
you.
much. Thank you, Chai. Thank
Thank
you,
you, Mommy and
Patrick.
Daddy.
Thank you, Mommy.
It's
I'm
our
sure
honor.
na many will be blessed by this episode.
Yay!
Alright, so there you have it. And I know, bitin kayo, no? So, abangan nyo. We probably will have another episode. Gusto nyo pa yan? So, watch, learn, and of course, subscribe so you get to know the next episode. So, how do you do that? Ring that bell, okay? And of course, I advise you really to seek guidance kung millennial kayo or not so sa amin, no? Pag millennial, Chai and Patrick for preparation for whatever stage in life you are in. God bless us all.
God bless you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for watching.
If you like this video, subscribe.
And ring the bell to get notified on our next video.
Bye.
Thank you.